cityclerk.lacity.org/election and clicking on the poll worker information section. It's been 100 years since a pivotal event changed the course of Los Angeles, the completion of the Los Angeles Aqueduct. To commemorate this historic event, the City Council is declaring 2013 the year of the LA Aqueduct. The Los Angeles City Council joins the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power in launching a year-long celebration of William Mulholland's great engineering achievement that brought water from Owens Valley, 233 miles away, to L.A. 100 years ago.
When the city was founded in San Gabriel in 1781, 44 people walked 9 miles. And where did they stop, Jim? They stopped on what would be the Los Angeles River because they needed water. And water is what made the city grow.
City leaders credit the Los Angeles Aqueduct, completed in 1913, for defining the modern era of Los Angeles and with the growth and prosperity of Southern California.
The connection of the Transcontinental Railroad with the spur that connected Los Angeles to the Transcontinental Railroad and the opening of this aqueduct. And were it not for those two things, we would continue to be a tiny little backwater village south of San Francisco.
But history had other plans for Los Angeles. Today, the LADWP serves 600 million gallons of drinking water every single day to a population of over 4 million people. But thanks to conservation, stormwater capture, water recycling, and groundwater cleanup, aqueduct water is less than half of our water supply today.
Water is our history, but it is also our future, which is why we as a council and as a city are committed to responsible stewardship of this precious resource.
While William Mulholland famously said back in 1913 of the water running down the aqueduct, there it is, take it. His great-granddaughter, who was on hand in council chambers for the centennial celebration, says she sees this milestone as a way to continue educating the public about this most precious resource.
To remind people from where the water comes and the costs to bring it, treat it, and deliver it, and the tremendous responsibility to conserve and never waste it.
The Los Angeles Aqueduct Centennial, with the theme Our Legacy, Our Future, includes events, activities, and a public awareness campaign. There will also be a celebration on November 5th to mark 100 years to the day when a crowd of 40,000 gathered at the northeast end of the San Fernando Valley to witness the first flow of water down the Cascades. Revitalization efforts continue in downtown Los Angeles as officials begin construction on a new apartment complex in hopes of bringing more people to downtown. Yana Kay has more.
This backhoe is about to dig into the dirt, making way for a new high-rise residential tower in the Bunker Hill area of downtown Los Angeles. Related California, the developers of the site, along with city and county officials, broke ground recently on what will be the first residential building of the developer's Grand Avenue project.
Today's ceremony marks a continuation of the journey to a more lively and a more vital downtown.
The tower, which will be built as a rectangular prism accentuated by walls of glass and windows, is located at 225 North Grand Avenue between 2nd and 3rd Streets, across from Metro's planned station and next door to the Broad, a new museum that's under construction.
There is no more exciting place to be than downtown LA.
It took about 8 years and the collaborative efforts of the city and county to get to this groundbreaking.
I really feel that we can be part of something that's transformational on Bunker Hill. And that's, at the end of the day, going to be the test of this project. And I think it will pass the test.
The 19-story apartment tower will cost $120 million to build, will have 271 apartments, and will feature 5,000 square feet of restaurant space. Out of the 271 apartments, 20% will be reserved for low-income families. Officials hope the tower will reflect the city's diversity and will serve as part of a revitalized and vibrant downtown. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The tower is scheduled to be completed in 2014 and will create more than 400 jobs. Construction is also underway in the valley for housing to help the homeless population there. It's a project that takes on personal meaning for one council member who's going public about a family member whom he hopes might be able to take advantage of the services. Gil Reyes reports.
Councilman Richard Alarcon has broken ground on affordable housing projects in the past, but this one's different than most. It's being built specifically for homeless adults with mental illness, people like his son.
My son is homeless in the San Fernando Valley. He's diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he refuses services. I don't know whether he's taking his meds or not, because I see him once every few months, and only when I'm passing by a Del Taco, or you never know where he's going to pop up. It is the greatest challenge in my life to watch my son struggle. And so I know that these services are necessary.
The councilman encouraging projects like Day Street Apartments. It'll sit on what's now a vacant lot at 7639 Day Street in Sunderland, Tujunga. It will have 46 units and, yes, free mental health counseling on site. LA Family Housing makes it possible. In the past year, it's housed several formerly homeless people with mental illness at its new Palo Verde complex in Sun Valley.
And they were able to do that because of our partnerships with the community, because of our service relationships.
So today we welcome this as a tremendously needed service in the Sunderland Tujunga community.
Many of the area's homeless have set up encampments at nearby Sunderland Park. The problem worsens from the lack of support services in Sunderland Tujunga. Despite some objection to the new housing from the neighborhood, Councilman Alarcon hopes it will help people like his son. Expected completion date early next year. In Sunderland Tujunga, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The $15 million complex will also have free job placement services on site. A friendly game of basketball is always fun, but there's one basketball game that's teaching kids a whole lot about this nation's civil rights movement and how far we've come. Yana Kay explains.
These kids are playing some hoops as part of the MLK Games, a yearly basketball event put on by the Westwood Recreation Center to honor civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr.
I think everyone should be equal because it doesn't matter what color your skin is, it just matters how you act.
Many parents came to support their kids on the court and say basketball is a great way to celebrate a true leader.
Martin Luther King had a dream and it came true, and it came true for everybody in the world. The freedom is just priceless.
Now in its fourth year, the goal of the MLK Games is to inspire friendship among kids by playing basketball. The kids, who come from 18 different parks programs in the city, are separated into teams and play what is known as friendship games.
Oh, they love it. You know, they go around after the game, they wear their T-shirts around. They're really proud to be a part of the program.
The basketball program also teaches kids about the importance of having a dream and going for it.
That you can be somebody if you have a dream. You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you can't get to nowhere unless you dream.
I feel happy because if Martin Luther King Jr. didn't do that, we would have to sit at the end of the bus.
A friendly game of basketball as the actions of Martin Luther King Jr. continue to inspire decades after his death. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
Century City will soon see a whole new restaurant and shopping district. Residents in one community being urged to join a neighborhood watch, and shelter animals need foster homes. How you can help. These stories and more in City Beat. The Los Angeles City Council has greenlit a $2 billion redevelopment project in Century City. The Century Plaza Hotel will serve as the cornerstone for the 1.5 million square foot mixed-use project. The plan includes restoration of the famed hotel at the intersection of Avenue of the Stars and Constellation Boulevard, as well as the construction of two 46-story residential towers, a plaza with shops and restaurants, and 2 acres of open space with fountains and walkways. Construction is scheduled to begin next year. The LA City Council unanimously approved interim general manager of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, Gracie Liu, to be the permanent general manager.
I am trained in nonviolent communication and in transformational mediation, which I think comes in handy when I work with not only within the city, but also with our neighbor councils.
Councilman Bernard Parks had high praise for Lou prior to the vote.
She probably ran, along with other city departments, the best elections that we've had in the history of neighbor councils.
Lou, who has a law degree, has also worked in the field of business entertainment and in the nonprofit sector, specifically working with survivors of domestic violence. The holidays may be over, but theft from vehicles continues to be a big problem in some neighborhoods like Van Nuys. This has prompted the Los Angeles Police Department to advise residents there to join a neighborhood watch group in an attempt to prevent residential burglaries and burglaries from vehicles. Police say by getting to know your neighbors, you will have a better understanding of who and what vehicles belong in the neighborhood and will be able to report suspicious people or vehicles, helping police to stop crimes before they happen. For more information on starting or joining a neighborhood watch in Van Nuys, call the Van Nuys Community Relations Office at 818-374-9409. LA Animal Services needs people willing to offer a foster home to kittens and puppies until they are 8 to 10 weeks old and can be returned to the shelter to be spayed or neutered before being placed in permanent, loving homes. The application to be a pet foster parent takes up to several weeks to process, so the department is encouraging you to sign up now. Animal Services officials say foster care for newborn kittens and puppies greatly ensures their survival rate, as well as their development and health throughout their lives. Kittens and puppies aren't the only ones, though, who need foster care either. To find out more about becoming a foster family for shelter animals, go to laanimalservices.com. Other animals that need foster care include healthy adult animals that just need a break from the shelter, or sick animals that need extra TLC, or even reptiles. Well, we have been reporting on the city's progress and its promise to build 50 new parks here in the city. We take you now to South Los Angeles for the recent unveiling of the new 76th Street Park. This ribbon cutting isn't the first, and it won't be the last. In fact, it was the fifth in what will be a total of 50 ribbon cuttings to unveil new parks in the city of Los Angeles as part of the city's promise to build 50 new parks in the next several years.
This was one of our highest priority locations, so it's one of the first we've gotten done. By next July 1, we'll have 20 parks done and open to the public, and within about a year and a half after that, we'll have over 50 new parks added to the parks that we have in the city of Los Angeles.
To say that the city is in the midst of a parks renaissance is no exaggeration. In fact, the city built dozens of parks in the past few years outside the 50 Parks initiative.
You add that to the 37 parks, there are 38 parks we've opened in the last few years. You'll find in the last 8 years or so, we will have added more than 20% of the number of parks that we've had in this city in the whole 120-year history of the Parks Department.
This commitment to build parks is a way to give formerly blighted and concrete-lined neighborhoods the green space residents have long asked for themselves and for their children. And here in South LA, the need is greater than ever.
Unfortunately, we lead the league in childhood obesity. We also lead the league in asthma, diabetes, a variety of things that all seem to circulate around diet and food-driven kinds of diseases.
But a recent report shows that childhood obesity in Los Angeles is dropping, and city leaders say it's no coincidence. With the opening of each new park, the hope is the children of Los Angeles will skip, slide, and play their way into a healthier lifestyle. There are currently around 430 parks in the city of Los Angeles. And we take you to 2 more park projects aimed at keeping kids of all abilities healthy and active. Here's Rasha Goel.
It's all about parks. This groundbreaking of a park specifically for kids 5 years old and younger at the Richie Valens Recreation Center is just the beginning. The plan calls for creating 39 more tot parks and trails throughout LA County.
What we're doing here is creating a sustainable environment, a sustainable change for our communities to promote physical activity and healthy living.
First 5 LA, whose mission is to oversee the health and safety of children, is working with the LA Department of Recreation and Parks and Shane's Inspiration, a nonprofit group promoting the unity of children of all abilities, to create some of the parks. Another playground being enhanced under the program is the Jamie Beth Slavin Memorial Park in North Hollywood.
This playground was named in honor of a young girl who passed away of Ray's syndrome. Her parents donated this playground equipment.
It will now receive a facelift and be designed with equipment to address the needs of childhood obesity and children living with disabilities.
What these play areas provide is open, accessible, welcoming play facilities for children of all ability levels.
According to officials, lower physical activity is consistently associated with obesity.
This is an opportunity for children to come out of their homes and get involved in exercise and try to reduce their weight.
By promoting physical activity, First 5 LA hopes to see more children maintain a healthy weight and lifestyle. From Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
First 5 LA has donated $12 million for new construction and revitalization of parks and play spaces in LA County. In this week's list of things to do, researching your genealogy, free family tours at one museum, and a morning hike at Griffith Park. We're only a few weeks into the new year, and that means there's more than 11 months to keep your New Year's resolution to stay active. So why not join some new friends and Ranger Ernie Ibarra at Griffith Park on a 5-mile intermediate level hike on Saturday, February 2nd to Bronson Caves. There will be a very steep climb on the way back from the caves. Meet at the Griffith Observatory parking lot next to the restrooms at 8 a.m. The observatory is located at 2800 East Observatory Avenue. You can find out more details by going to facebook.com/Ranger Ernie. Get tips for a fun family museum visit, explore artworks that are popular with children, and engage in playful observation and discussion in Spanish and English. Whether the art is miniature cars zooming through a futuristic city, a mummy from ancient Egypt, a 340-ton boulder that you can walk under, or animal avatars from ancient Mexico, your family will learn about and experience the best the museum has to offer at LACMA's free family tours. The next one will be held on Saturday, February 2nd at 11 a.m. LACMA is located at 5905 Wilshire Boulevard. The works of art change weekly. The tours are led by museum educators. For more information, go to lacma.org. And have you always been curious about your family's roots? Why not get started on your family's genealogy research at the Central Library downtown? There will be a genealogy librarian available to answer in-person questions at the History and Genealogy Department reference desk on Monday, February 4th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. with a lunch break from 12:30 to 1:30. In fact, the genealogy librarian is available during those hours on most Mondays and Saturdays. The Central Library is located at 630 West 5th Street downtown. For more info, go to lapl.org. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. The Campo de Cahuenga Historical Memorial in the Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks held a celebration recently marking the anniversary of the Articles of Capitulation signing, a contract which ended the war between the United States and Mexico. Yana Kay takes us to the festivities.
The firing of this wartime cannon is the highlight of this Campo de Cahuenga celebration, held at the historical location in North Hollywood.
When it went off, I saw like a huge amount of smoke. When I saw the cannon shoot out, there was like a bunch of fire, and me and Daniel thought we were going to die, so we were over there.
These fiesta dancers and this reenactment are also part of the festivities, giving folks a glimpse into California's past. It's the 63rd celebration of the Articles of Capitulation, signed here by Mexico and the United States in 1847, ending the war between the two countries.
Article 5, that in virtue of the aforesaid articles, equal rights and privileges are vouchsafed to every citizen of California.
Those who put on the annual event say this site is significant for several reasons. One being that in 1790, the Pueblo was one of the first buildings to have finished plaster and a red tile roof.
Not only that, the size of the building and the width of the wall suggests that it could have been the first two-story building in California.
The site also served as a Union encampment during the Civil War, one of the many positions held by Union soldiers in Los Angeles to protect California's gold supply from the Confederate Army. Councilmember Tom LaBonge served as the Grand Marshal of the event.
The organization of the Campo de Cahuenga, the historic aspect is so important as we remember our past.
And keeping those memories alive is what these events are all about. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The Campo de Cahuenga site is open and available for tours. And that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
G'day, Troy McCubbin from North Hollywood. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
Council, the City Council chambers. We do have two presentations this morning, and I believe Councilor Englander is ready to go. Councilor Englander, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. As chair of the Public Safety Committee and an LAPD reserve officer, our LAPD officers hold a special place for me. So today, I'm extremely proud to thank a retiring LAPD officer and acknowledge the tremendous contributions and sacrifices she has made for our great city. In 1981, following her honorable discharge from the United States Army, Deborah A. Gonzalez joined the Los Angeles Police Department's Candidate Assistance Program, CAP program, and joined the Police Academy. This was at a time when women were first being integrated into the full field duty, and there were not that many women in uniform patrolling our streets. After completing the academy, advancing to a police officer 2, she was assigned to West Valley Division. Early in her career with the LAPD, Officer Gonzalez determined that she wouldn't attain dual status as both a sergeant and as a detective, a goal she achieved in 1991. That she would attain, rather. Deborah Gonzalez became a Detective 3, the highest detective rank possible in LAPD, when she was appointed as the Department Sexual Harassment Coordinator by the Chief of Police in 1994. Detective Gonzalez devoted the next 14 years of her career as a women's coordinator, counseling female employees experiencing sexual harassment, employee discrimination, or workplace retaliation. Detective Gonzalez served as a subject matter expert, providing guidance to command staff officers, other police departments, and the City Commission on the status of women. She conducted investigations into hostile work environments, and she educated employees on the options available to take effective action on workplace issues. Detective Gonzalez continued her education and training so that she can contribute to LAPD's transition into the 21st century as a law enforcement leader. She received a doctorate of education specializing in organizational change from Pepperdine University in 2010. Her dissertation was on the act and impact of whistleblowing on the Los Angeles Police Department and included policy recommendations. Detective Gonzalez served as president of the Los Angeles Women Police Officers Association, the largest department employee organization of its kind, providing visionary leadership to all of its members. They are made up of women and men of sworn in law enforcement agencies dedicated to the advancement of women in the law enforcement profession through training and career development. She made great strides in establishing the reputation as an association. Detective Deborah Gonzalez has protected and served the people of the City of Los Angeles for 31 years and 8 months. While it's sad to see her go, we could not be more proud of the service, the dedication, and the professionalism, the leadership that she has given to the City of Los Angeles in the years she has spent protecting and serving our community. We wish her a very happy, healthy, long retirement, which she greatly deserves. On a personal note, this is an extraordinary individual and true leader in Los Angeles, a jewel to the City of LA. Because of her focus and dedication, as well as her sacrifices, we're joined here by her son David, who, as we all know, police officers and their children and their families, they also sacrifice, where their parents are often spending a lot of time away from the home, but also risking their lives on the streets to protect our community. She went above that. She didn't just clock into work and jump into black and white. She took significant strides in leadership positions to turn the city around, to be a true leader for women in all departments throughout this country. If we look at what she has done as a leader in her role with LAPD, and all eyes are always on our department as leaders in the nation, and the fact that it was just recently signed that women can now serve in combat in the military, that was truly because of Deborah Gonzalez's leadership, that this country has changed dramatically, and we recognize our true leaders, both men and women. that can serve in all capacities and all rank and file on the front lines protecting us. So it's an honor to bring her to our City Council chambers. It is bittersweet to let her go, but after 31 years and 8 months, she deserves to see the world through different eyes, and it's sad to lose one of our own. But David, her son, will truly enjoy, I believe, certainly years of retirement with her as well. So colleagues, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to bring this true hero before you.
Thank you, Councilman Rose. We do have one speaker on the queue, Councilman Rosendahl.
Yeah, I didn't want to go sit down and stand up. I have this health issue, which is not important for everybody to deal with, but for me it is. I wanted to stay standing for you. The difference you've made, and not only here, but to give women get rid of that glass ceiling business is so significant. I'm a former military guy, so when women were now allowed to be in combat, I was at an event at the VA hospital last Friday. We were shoveling there to create more housing for the homeless. And 4 or 5 women came up to me in the military and were really excited and happy and grateful that now they're fully equal to men. And unfortunately, we don't like war, but we're all the ones who suffer through war. And we all should be, after that whole experience in life, given every opportunity. So you're a mentor, you're a leader, you're a role model, and you're not going to retire. You're just going to move into a whole nother life. One door closes, the other door opens. And I look forward to that other door you're going to go into. Thank you for what you've done for all of us. Thank you. Give her a round of applause.
On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, and this is signed by all council members, and we just wanted to say thank you as a token of our appreciation with this resolution, commending you on all your great years of service and dedication to the city. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to you now as well to say a few words.
Wow, where do I begin? I had the most wonderful 31 years I could ever imagine. It was an honor and a privilege to serve the City of Los Angeles and work on the Los Angeles Police Department. When I came on the job, I think there were about 200 women, and now there's over 2,000 women. So I'm very happy. I'm extremely happy to have been a part of that. From day one, I agreed that more women should be in leadership positions. And I was feeling that same way when I was in the military. So when I heard that women can now serve on the front lines, I'm wishing I was 21 again, because I'd be right there. So again, thank you so much for this recognition, this acknowledgement. It means so much to me, and I walk away with so many wonderful memories because of all of you and the people standing behind me, my friends and my son and my family. I'm just so blessed to be here today and having them with me and to be acknowledged in this way. So thank you very much. I really appreciate this.
Councilman Englander, if we could have Detective Gonzalez do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please stand? Everybody please stand.
Please begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Detective.
For inquiring minds that want to know, since I asked her earlier, 31 years and 8 months, she started on the department when she was 4. So just so you know. All right.
Okay.
Just clear that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Labange, are we ready? Madam Clerk, please call the roll. I believe we have a quorum now.
Alarcon, Buscaino, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Carrasco, Corian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zion, Weston. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilor Labange?
Do you want to go through the agenda real quick, or?
Okay, we're not ready?
Okay, we're ready, but I'm just giving you the option.
Just go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, members. We have very special friends from Durban in South Africa, the great country of South Africa, the great city of Durban. Please welcome this very special delegation here. And we have Naguba Sabala, who is here, who is our deputy mayor. We're here to sign a friendship pact. We're going to introduce all this very special delegation. Jim Clark, Director of International Relations for Mayor Villaraigosa, is here as well. And this is Mitch Englander's phone right here, so we want to make sure that he gets his phone back. Joe, give it to Mitch. Well, yeah, I think the battery's missing and everything else. Right here, Joe. There you go. You're a good catcher. Okay, Joe. Thank you very much. Durban, 3.5 million on the east coast of South Africa, Indian Ocean, a port city. And I want Joe to come back in here and join us right now. The great councilman of the Port of Los Angeles, Joe Buscaino. Come in for Durban right now as we present this Friendship Pact. Tonight we will have a reception in the rotunda, the grand rotunda of this great city hall, where representatives of this delegation from Durban and of Los Angeles will get this together and sign a Friendship Pact. Los Angeles is a friendship city with Lodz in Poland, with Manchester in England, and also with London, the great Olympic city. And as since 1996, I believe, as the acting coordinator for the city on our Sister City program, through Mayor Reardon, through Mayor Hahn, Mayor Villaraigosa, when we have an opportunity, we create a friendship city. And if the friendship city grows, we become sister cities. But we want to make sure we have friends. And between the two ports, and Big Joe is right here with the Port of Los Angeles and the Port of Durban, we make this representative proclamation for friendship well. We're very proud of this. We had a tour of the port. The Consul General is here as well. And I'm going to ask Joe Buscaino to say a few words as a member of the Port of Los Angeles and the great Port of Los Angeles and all the ships at sea.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. It really gives me great pleasure to welcome you and sign on this declaration on this sister city, port city. As we know, the Port of Los Angeles is the international gateway of cargo. But let me be clear, the Port of Los Angeles is also an international gateway for people as well. So I want to welcome you on behalf of the city and also the Port of Los Angeles, and so look forward to this sister city relationship. Thank you.
And some of the things that you have done, Joe, including in the greening of our port, along with Mayor Villaraigosa, is also the issues where you've shared. You just recently had Tokyo, which gave another 25
years, yes,
which is so important. We look for Durban. We also have Jim Clark, who's the Director of International Relations for Mayor Villaraigosa, to say a few words. He's also a council member in the city of Culver City, a little city to the west of Los Angeles.
Well, on behalf of the mayor, I'm very pleased to be able to welcome the delegation from Durban here. As you know, the mayor is, in fact, overseas. The mayor has made trade a very important part of his issue, a part of his administration, and we welcome the opportunity to extend the relationship with Durban. So welcome to all of you, and appreciate having you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So, Deputy Mayor, this is the people's microphone right here in the Grand John Farrell Chambers. Please say a few words on behalf of your mayor. Please welcome Deputy Mayor Narovia Shabalala. Did I get that right?
Thank you.
Did I get that? You can call me Tom Labange.
No, I will tell you how to pronounce it. Thank you very much, Mr. Tom. We feel very honored to be welcomed in the city of Los Angeles. We are here to represent the mayor of our city, Councillor James Ngomola, who could not be here due to the other pressing events that are happening. As you know that in South Africa, we are one of the host city for the AFCON Cup that is playing as we speak in our city. Therefore, the mayor humbly apologized that he could not be here, but we are here to represent our city. We would like to say thank you very much for welcoming us, and hopefully when we sign the friendship agreement this afternoon, it will not be the end of the events, but it will be the starting of the friendship that will continue to grow, especially because both cities are the city that we are in the very close to the sea, and therefore we are port cities. And both ports, we have listened to the presentation yesterday from the Port Authority of Los Angeles, and we find that this port is one of the biggest port. And also in the continent of Africa, our port is one of the largest ports in the entire continent of Africa. Therefore, we believe that we will definitely have the good relationship with the city of Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And, we have a very special representative, the Consul General, who is here from South Africa. Please, for a few remarks. I want to say it correctly, Consul General.
Yeah. A very good morning, to all of you, the City of the Angels, and I'm so glad that we started working with Councilman Tom LaBonge and his office, Camilla Blanche, and which has culminated, in this kind of friendship which is being extended by both the city and the people of Los Angeles, and for that, this is the beginning. This is not the end. Thank you so much.
Council General Endeavor, you want to know there's over 105 consulates, Madam City Clerk, in Los Angeles. And of that, the great Council Generals who leave their homes and families in their home countries and travel around the world. But you had the heart to reach out to us, which is so first, to bring us together with Durban. So let's give the Council General Endeavor a big hand there. Thank you so much. Well, Mr. President, that completes our presentation, unless you want more facts and figures.
I think we have a generous amount of information.
Thank you so much, Durban. Let's hear it for Durban in South Africa.
We have Councilman Krikorian on the queue. Councilman Krikorian on the queue.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaBonge, for bringing these guests into our chambers. I just wanted to briefly say that in 2007, I had the good fortune of visiting South Africa. Didn't get a chance to go to Durban, unfortunately, but I have to say that visit was really inspiring to me as a public official, given how much this city of Los Angeles dedicated itself to fighting against apartheid, welcoming Nelson Mandela to this city hall, when we have struggled along with you to overcome apartheid, to be able to see the new South Africa and to see this most diverse society living in harmony with such extraordinary success and overcoming such extraordinary obstacles, it really is inspiring to all of us throughout the world, I think, who continue to struggle with the same kind of challenges. And so it's a great honor to be able to welcome you here and to thank you for the beacon of hope that you've extended to everyone throughout the world.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. Mr. Krikorian, I thank you, and thank you for recalling the great Nelson Mandela came at the invitation of the late, great Tom Bradley, our mayor, on the steps of City Hall. The First Street steps was packed all the way across the street with people to salute Nelson Mandela, and he came into the chambers in a special day that it was. So thank you so much.
Okay, one more speaker on the queue, Councilman Rosendahl.
Mr. Rosendahl.
To say that in 1975, I was in your great country. And it was an era that was still segregated. Of course, I had come through Black Africa by myself on a backpack. I went from Egypt through the Sudan, Ethiopia to Kenya to Tanzania to Zambia to Malawi to Mozambique to then Rhodesia, then to South Africa. And frankly, I spent a lot of time as the only white man for hundreds of miles with lots of black folk. And everywhere I went, they took me in. They gave me respect and dignity. You're called a stranger in our midst, and in the household you go. And I can't tell you how thrilled I was when Nelson Mandela became head, and there was without the bloodshed and all the insanity that has happened in various other places that have caused lots of problems. That shows an incredible spiritual connection to people and to the community. And I can't tell you, of course, I took the blue train from Durban to, not Durban, but from Cape Town to Johannesburg, which your train system has got to be one of the best in the world. And your country is one of the most beautiful places on earth. So welcome here. Tom LaBonge is the king of sister cities for our city. He is Mr. Los Angeles. I can't think of a better person to single out and create this whole sister city relationship. So it's nice to have you as a sister. Thank you. Thank you.
Tonight we will sign it officially in the rotunda. Mr. Reyes, and we thank you. Let's give Durban another big hand.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilor LaBonge. First order of business.
Approval of minutes.
Councilor Garcetti moves. Councilor Krikorian seconds. Next item.
Committee to resolutions for approval.
Councilor Park moves and Councilor Alarcon seconds. Next item.
Mr. President, you wish to run through the agenda?
Yes.
Item 1, Arlene's notice for public hearing. The Department of Building and Safety reports that items 1A, B, H, and L may be received and filed inasmuch as the liens have been paid.
We do have 2 cards on that item, so we'll call that special.
Items 2 through 17 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Okay, members, any specials on items 2 through 17? Seeing none, do you have one?
Items 2, 3, and 30, I'd like to vote no on those. Otherwise, I could call them special.
On items 2?
2, 3, and 30.
2.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 and 3, sorry.
2 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hold those for special. On the balance of the items, we can open the roll, close the roll, and tally the vote.
12 ayes.
Next item.
Items 18 through 27 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, any specials on 18 through 27? We do have cards on several of these items. I believe on 18, 19, 22, and 23. We'll hold those special for cards. Let's open the roll and close the roll on the balance of the items. Okay. Let's open the roll and close the roll on the remaining balance.
12 ayes.
Okay. Next item.
8 is a closed session item. Do you wish to hold that on the desk?
Yes.
On the supplemental agenda, item 29 is an item for which a public hearing has been held.
Okay. Any members wishing to call this item special? Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay.
Items 30 through 32 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Okay. We do have a card on item 30, 31, and 32. So we'll call those special. Okay, Madam Clerk, next item.
Mr. President, I believe there's a request to take up item 30.
Let's take item 30. Councilor Corretz, item 30.
Colleagues, as you know, there are 2 ballot measures heading to the voters in May on medical marijuana. Items 2 and 3 on today's agenda, which we have to place on the ballot. Neither is perfect, and one in particular would leave far too little regulation of dispensaries and would not be of service to our neighborhoods. I'm very proud of our council president and his leadership for helping to bring forward this third option, one which will pass, one that has tax advantages, one that will maintain enough access for patients, one that protects communities, and the one that represents a consensus among many different interests and stakeholders. And I thank Mr. Weston for that. I think the best course for us is to offer the voters this third better alternative, which combines the revenue-raising provisions of one of the 2 ballot measures with sensible controls on the numbers, locations, and operations of dispensaries. This will ensure reasonable access but still protect our neighborhoods. I agree with anyone who will say that 3 measures on the same issue on the same ballot is confusing. Still, on balance, this seems like the far most prudent way to go. I know it's been a long road on this issue. I know we all have opinions on what we did right and what we didn't, but today I ask that we move forward together, give the voters a superior option, and start protecting patients and communities at the same time. I ask for an aye vote on this item.
Thank you, Councilor Corretz. We have several speakers on the queue. Our next speaker is Councilman Alarcon, followed by Councilman Garcetti. Councilman Alarcon.
I didn't press my button.
Oh, I got your name up here. Didn't press it? Okay, Councilman Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Koretz, for your leadership on this. We all wish we would have a little bit more direction and leadership from the national and state level. The national level to finally reclassify medical marijuana as just that, a medicine, so we could get past the hypocrisy and get past a lot of the work that we have to do here at the local level so that people can get access and get their medicine. At the state level, a state initiative passed and the state refuses to act and give us guidance, which is, in my opinion, an abdication of their responsibilities. But meanwhile, here where it's fallen, at the local level, and it has not been for lack of trying around this horseshoe, but different courts have said different things because the state and federal government sometimes have conflicted with each other or been unclear. I very much do support this as a third alternative. If folks out there are confused, vote for the third one. We'll be getting a letter on that and we'll be able to advocate exactly what it is. But it does ensure access, but it also ensures that we will get fees to be able to enforce and maintain some sense of control in our neighborhoods as well. I was driving earlier this morning and saw a string of about 10 different clinics in a 3-block stretch or 4-block stretch here in the city. That's unacceptable, but it's just as unacceptable for people not to have access to medicine. And I also think that it's important for those dispensaries that have been good actors, that have been waiting for years, who have tried to play by the rules even as they have changed, who have done well for their employees and provided decent middle-class jobs and benefits, that we stand up and speak out to make sure those are the ones that we have, just as we'd want the good restaurants, the good bars, the good corner stores. Those who violate the law should be shut down, but those who are doing a good job and who are providing folks with the medicine that they need, let's make sure that we finally can, as one cop told me, get out of the business of having to enforce this locally so I can focus on serious crimes. We can do that with this, and I fully support it, not just on being on the ballot, but I will be voting for it too.
Okay, Councilman Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have various positioning on this, but let me be very clear about this and why I support this. Okay? Grants limited immunity to those approximately 135 medical marijuana businesses that do not violate specific restrictions, allows medical marijuana businesses 180 days to relocate if they are found in violation of distant requirements, increases the existing tax on such businesses from $50 to $60 per $1,000 of gross receipts, exempts dwelling units used by 3 or 4 patient caregivers to cultivate medical marijuana on site for their patients or themselves. Obviously, this is a compromise. We've been working for years on this issue, and if we allow 135 medical marijuana businesses, people in my situation will be covered. And, you know, it's not just about me. I think the federal government needs to show real leadership and change the schedule on marijuana. Instead of making it the worst drug on earth, make it absolutely not the worst. If you want to make the worst drug, it's alcohol that creates all that nastiness in people. So we need to deal with it from that end at another group called Washington, D.C. But here on the local level, look, when I first came down with diabetes 8 years ago, the doctor prescribed medical marijuana for the neuropathy in my right foot. This was a real deal by a real doctor, not a pot doctor. It was somebody at St. John's Hospital who's a real internist. And he wrote me a prescription, medical marijuana. I said, now where do I take this? You know, fortunately, we were able to figure a process out. Then that was the end of it until I collapsed with stage 4 cancer that came about by one of the damn pills for the diabetes called Actos, A-C-T-O-S. So anybody who's taking Actos, don't take it. It has caused the ureter cancer that I have. And when I collapsed and fell on the floor and ended up at St. John's Hospital with this great oncologist I have, Melanie, you know what she said? Have you thought about marijuana? And now, in my state, and I got to say, I'm feeling better today than I have in the last 6 months. I'm walking around, I'm getting tired of sitting down and all. Because right before I go to bed at night, never in the morning, never during the day, but right before I go to bed, my nephew, Chris Rosendahl, prepares one of those volcanoes, and I take 3 hits of that, and he gets me upstairs into bed, and I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Now, to get sleep when you're in my situation and not be in pain is so extraordinary. And so I called the doctor. I said, "You really believe this?" She says, "Yes, it has least side effects." You know, all those chemical drugs have big side effects too. So I'm none of those chemical drugs anymore, and I only do it sparingly at night before I go to bed. And I was just telling my colleagues, one of my great joy last night was I could turn to my left side. Yesterday I learned how to turn to my right side, so my body's able to move around. And for a person in my state, let me just say, all of us who suffer right now, that there is hope. Never give up hope. There's lots of new combinations of things happening in the medical world that gives us an opportunity to live, not die when we get this diagnosis. And one of them has been the medical marijuana. So let's go forward with this and make it part of the law. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Our last speaker is Councilman Parks. Councilman Parks.
Thank you very much. Do we have the city attorney here? Anybody representing the city attorney's
The city
office?
attorney, representative, please.
Yeah, I just have 4 questions to see if you could clarify something for me. And this is some of the things that come from our community. With the ordinance that is before us, does it exceed the authority of the current state medical marijuana legislation?
Harith Trivedi from the City Attorney's Office. And,
speak up a little bit.
I'm sorry, Harith Trivedi from the City Attorney's Office, and Steve Blau from our office is also here with me, as well as Bill Carter. As you are all probably very well aware, the state of the law in this field is fairly chaotic at the state level, and there are several contradictory Court of Appeals opinions on this area. Our office believes that this ordinance does as best as possible navigating through those various legal issues and present something that, if this council should seek to do so, can go to the voters and be an alternative to one of the other 2 initiatives that are on the ballot.
I don't think you answered my question. Does it exceed the current state law on medical marijuana?
Again, it does not exceed the current state law on medical marijuana because there are so many contradicting Court of Appeal opinions in this area, and so we think this does comply.
But those Court of Appeal decisions, are they being adjudicated at this time, or are they final?
Yes, and one other point I should make is that there is scheduled on February 5th at the California Supreme Court a fairly significant case for oral argument that may provide, and we hope provides, guidance in this area. But we're all waiting for that decision.
Okay, so until those cases are adjudicated, all we have to fall back on is the state law.
Correct.
Okay, so all right. The next thing I want to find out is that, as the ordinances are currently written, are they preempted by both state and federal law?
Again, the state law in this area is so chaotic, and
I'm talking about state H&S law, such as selling marijuana, and the federal law about selling marijuana.
I might need to ask for Steve Blau or someone else from our office to come give a little bit more thorough information to you on those specifics.
Good morning, Councilman. Steve Blau from the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office. As Harith had mentioned, there are conflicting laws on that issue. This was a council...
Is it conflicting laws or conflicting opinions?
Conflicting opinions. The only thing we have in state law are immunities, and this was a council-requested ordinance that we have done our best to draft so it does not conflict with state law or federal law. But what we do know is that it is a Schedule I drug under federal law. And it's not certain, we can't say for certain at the moment what will happen. Hopefully the California Supreme Court will give guidance on that issue. But we've done our best to navigate the conflicting Court of Appeals opinions, and to the best of our ability have drafted something we think will hold up.
If you were navigating just the law, would this be preempted by state and federal law?
This is similar to the state law in the sense that it gives immunities from penalties. That's the same thing that the state law gives, immunities from penalties. So we don't think it would be preempted by state law. We also, again, we've done our best not to draft something that would conflict with federal law because we've drafted in terms of immunities, not in terms of permits or vested rights. This ordinance does not give any vested rights. It provides for immunities from our enforcement mechanisms.
Okay. Let me ask the third question. Under the current law, state and federal, if these ordinances are voted on and approved by the public, can they be implemented?
I believe so. I mean, the implementation would be in terms of which medical marijuana businesses would be immune from prosecution. So I would think that the enforcement mechanisms of the city would be able to enforce against those medical marijuana businesses that were not entitled to those immunities, and those that were, if they were enforced against, would assert those immunities in court.
Councilor Parker, please check your time.
Can I get one question?
Okay.
My final question, can the city legally tax the sale of contraband?
There is, with particular reference to medical marijuana, there is a lawsuit pending by several Doe plaintiffs that has challenged the city's Measure M taxing medical marijuana businesses and requiring those businesses to register for marijuana tax registration certificates. So I don't know the answer to that. That's an unanswered question. But the ordinance as it's written provides for a severance of those provisions should those provisions ultimately be held unconstitutional.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Councilor Labange.
Yeah, I just want to let you know if the day comes where CVS and Rite Aid sells this, does this make this allowable for them?
I mean, this is a regulatory regime intended to address the situation as it currently exists. My understanding is that the reason CVS and those businesses don't sell medical marijuana is because they would be violating federal law should they do so, and that's why we don't see a single one doing it.
But if they do that, though, if the law changes in the federal land, then they would be allowed to do this.
If they, not unless they've registered it and so forth. I think we might
they'd have to go through a process, make it eligible. I think it's so important we look at the advancement today and looking at this issue. Mr. Rosendahl's testimonial that he just spoke of, but others as well. But I think people don't want to see this in an alley. They don't want to see it near a junior high or a senior high. They don't want to live next to where people are smoking tobacco or marijuana or whatever else people smoke. People don't want smoking near them, which is a key. So this is an aid that may assist someone in illness. So this gives us that opportunity here. But I look forward to the day, members, that the American Medical Association and others step up and say that this is a tool to assist people in need, which is a key. That's the whole key, I think, that I'm basing on representing my constituency. But I absolutely do not want to see a proliferation of shops that plagued some neighborhoods. And in my particular case, where people did it without the intent of what so many who really care about others have in this, especially this fight, where they were just selling the dope as if it was dope, not selling it as something that could help people in illness, which is the key. So thank you very much for your work, Mr. City Attorney. How long have you been a city attorney?
10.5 years.
10.5 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman.
Okay. Seeing no one else on the queue, let's open the roll.
Excuse me.
Oh, public comment cards. Got me. All right. Moving too fast here. Okay, item 30. There's one card on this item, John Walsh. Mr. Walsh?
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. You see, we have a compromise. You've done a good job here. We don't see on Hollywood Boulevard anymore a phony guy dressed like a doctor waylaying 17-year-old tourists and trying to get him a medical marijuana license the way we did before. And who do I credit this to, this compromise? You see, the potheads aren't here today. They've been called off because there's a compromise. This thing is going to pass. There's no question. I'd bet my left arm on it, okay? Carmen Trutanich. When you were all taking pot shots at him, he put this thing. Now, the garbage he has up here, the city attorney deputy, I'm talking about Carmen. He did the deal. He put it together before it was chaos, and now it is a compromise. And that's why Carmen Trutanich is going to be elected for another 4 years. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Jobs, not jails.
Okay. Are there any other cards on item 30? I don't see any more. Okay. Okay. Councilman Koretz, you're on the queue.
Yeah, just a reminder not to look at this one in a vacuum. Don't forget, we have to put item 2 and 3 on the ballot. We don't have any other legal choice. So it's not comparison to any other choice other than those two. So I'm asking you, my colleagues, whether or not you totally agree with item 30, whether you would give us a chance to select, give voters a chance to select the best of these three options. So they will have a choice with some way to create a system of dispensaries. The question is, can we give them the best, safest, most appropriate choice? And that's what this item is. So I ask for your aye vote.
Okay. See no one else on the queue. No other public comment cards on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
8 ayes, 4 noes.
Mr. President, that the resolutions are adopted. The ordinance will be held over for a second reading for 1 week.
Thank you. So let's move to item 2.
Item 2, call special for Mr. Weezer.
Councilor Weezer on item 2.
I just want to register a no vote. Call it to a vote. Are there any public speaking cards? Oh, there are cards?
Public hearing has been held for number 2.
Oh, okay. So I have no comment. Just take the vote, please.
Yeah. There are no cards on item 2 and 3. We'll take 2 and 3 together, yes. So let's open the roll, close the roll. Just a minute. Okay, let's open the roll and close the roll on items 2 and 3. Tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 3 noes.
Those ordinances are adopted.
Okay. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 1, call special for cards.
Yes, we do have Sean for item 1, John Walsh, and Ralph Rios.
Yes, good morning. Sean Murphy, item 1. I am totally against the liens. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Walsh, you pass? Okay. Ralph Rios? Ralph Rios, are you here? Please come on up.
Good morning, Ralph Rios here on behalf of Manny Gallegos.
I'm sorry, can you speak up? Can you raise the volume on the microphone?
Ralph Rios on behalf of Manuel Gallegos. This is regarding 4635 East Valley Boulevard. I believe it's item O. We're objecting to the conferment of the proposed lien. This is over 3 years old. Mr. Gallegos took care of the issues over 3 years ago. When he called the Building and Safety Department, he was told the matter was closed.
Please continue, sir.
That's it.
This is District 14?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Councilor? You can move to the side there and we'll have Councilor Weezer, our staff, speak with you.
Okay.
So we hold this on the table? Councilor Weezer?
Yes, please.
We'll hold this item?
Yeah.
So hold 1O on the table. Can we move on the rest of the items? Okay. So let's open the roll. Close the roll. And tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay. Okay. So let's move to, we have a request to move to item 31.
Those people say 17 cards.
Okay. Now this is My understanding is that on item 31, we have over 17 cards. My understanding is that we have 2 speakers that are willing to speak on behalf of the group. Okay, and the rest we can read into the record. So that's our understanding. So the 2 that are going to speak are, okay, we'll just go through the cards. If I read your name and you're part of the 17 that agreed not to speak and just have your name read into the record, just raise your hand and we'll move to the next card. If you do want to speak, we'll come to the microphone. But the 2 that are identified to speak on behalf of the 17 are Emily Milhorn, and I believe it's Cindy Fowler. So these 2 will speak on behalf of the 17. And let me read the rest into the record. If you're not part of the 17, come to the microphone. Gail Burns, Julia Russell, Mike B., and Julie Kronheim, David Burke, Mark Overbaugh, Polly Nuttall, William Nuttall, Sean Carroll, Austin Price, Bill Eisen. I think John Walsh wants to speak. Councilman?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Real quickly, if I just stepped out for the restroom for a minute, can we open up, reconsider items 2 and 3 just for another vote? I just stepped out for 1 second.
Just for the record, I don't believe a new vote is needed. It's just for the record. If you want to change,
Okay, just for the record, we'll go ahead and change.
It doesn't change the outcome of the
record my vote as a no vote on 2 and 3, please. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll continue with the cards. Joel Kane, George McCurt, I believe, Carol Green, Charles Fredericks, Linda Milazzo, and Dale Benjamin Solomon. Okay, so we'll go with Emily Milhorn and Cindy Fowler, please, on behalf of the 17.
Thank
Please.
you. You hear me okay? All right.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Emily Melhorn. I'm a constituent of District 10. That's Councilmember Weston's district. First, I would like everyone in the chamber who supports item 31 to stand, since they will not all have the opportunity to speak today. All right, thank you. I was a proud Angelino on December 6th, 2012, when this City Council passed a resolution that showed your support of repealing Citizens United and corporate personhood. I would like you to continue to show your support by allowing Los Angeles citizens to vote on this very important issue in the May election. By placing this issue on the ballot, Los Angeles will distinguish itself again as a leader of progress and change in this country. And it will show that people, that is, real human beings, want their government to be of, by, and solely for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having us. My name is Cynthia Fowler, and I'm from Long Beach. I'm a concerned citizen who is actively involved in finding solutions to the problems we face. Everything from the environment to health care. These are all issues that are facing us, and what I realized is none of these issues can be changed and solved in the ways we need it for the good of the people until we change the funding of our elections. The citizens of this country, of the United States of America, need to be the funders of the elections, not the moneyed interest, not the lobbyists, not the corporations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker, please come up and give us your name.
My name is Mike B. Is this a person who lives forever, does not need clean air, does not need clean water, does not need safe food, is too big to fail, is too big to jail, has no hope of heaven, has no fear of hell, has no conscience to guide it, has no one to love, has no country of its own, has only love of money, was created for and is owned by human beings, Does this sound like a person to you? Do any of you really think the Founding Fathers intended this legal fiction to have the same constitutional protections as a living, breathing human being? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker, please give us your name.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. For the people out there, and I'm the only one who speaks directly to you, what this is they're going to put this on the ballot, and you're going to get to vote, guess what? On amending the United States Constitution. Now, I'm all for it. I'm for motherhood, the flag, wait a second, and with abortion rights, motherhood and the flag, and the right to destroy the flag if you feel like it. Do you understand? We are taking a position concerning what the Supreme Court said, which was that corporations are people too, and they can give as much as they want to any candidate. So we are now going to tell the United States Supreme Court they're wrong. They were wrong. But look at the way they wrote it. They wrote it so that it exempts corporations. In other words, corporations can't give as much money as they want to. But it allows big labor to give as much as they want. They've been exempted. Now, I just want you to realize that I got up here a few months ago and talked about a woman who was raped on Melrose Avenue, and I was ruled out of order because she was raped about 2 blocks from the border of the city of Los Angeles. And I was told the city of Los Angeles has nothing to do with her rape because we're 2 blocks away. You're out of order.
Mr. Walsh, please stick with the agenda.
Out of order. Now, listen to what I'm saying. See, they heckle me because I'm getting on their nerves. It is in order for the city council to take a position against the United States Supreme Court, and that's the law of the land. If you want to change it, you have to do it through a constitutional amendment. Let's do that and include labor unions. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Next speaker, please. Please give us your name.
My name is George Merkert. I live in Westwood. Citizens United is a travesty of legislation. It removes the voice of the citizens of our country from their governance. A year ago, this body led our nation by becoming the first big city to adopt a resolution opposing corporate personhood and unregulated donations to public officials. The next logical step is for the people of Los Angeles to express themselves directly on this issue. I urge this body to lead the country again and to vote in favor of putting the issue of Citizens United onto a ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker. Please give us your name.
Hi, my name is Carol Green. I want to thank this body for doing what you did and stepping up to the plate on December 6th in 2011. I was here. It was amazing. And we have an opportunity again to lead the country out of the quagmire of corporate personhood and back to where we belong as human beings living, running, and enjoying this country. So thanks. I want to be part of that, and I appreciate your courage in stepping up to the plate and putting this on the ballot. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Steve Bass. I hope you can hear and understand me. My RN sister says I'm not contagious, but that I should be in bed. But I was compelled to come this morning because I believe that this is a historic vote, perhaps one of the most important votes ever taken by the Los Angeles City Council. Because you are on the front edge of a movement that will fundamentally transform our country in the way that the abolitionists did, the suffragettes did, the 20th century progressives did, the labor movement has, and the civil rights heroes did. And I want to not repeat anything that my brothers and sisters have said, except that I support their positions. But I did want to add one thing, that I believe that this movement will give an opportunity for all Americans to end the polarization that has fractured and gridlocked our country, so that we can start reaching across political ideology. And this is because 90% of Americans, according to a recent vote, support getting big money out of politics. It's not a liberal issue. It's not a conservative issue. It's a truly American issue. And for every one of you who votes yes on the resolution today, I believe will be seen in history as leaders and visionaries who stood up for the American Republic at its very time of critical need. And I thank you for that.
Okay. That does conclude public comment. We have several speakers on the queue. Councilman Alarcon.
Council members, Senator John McCain called the Supreme Court Citizens United ruling the worst decision ever. He said, "They said money is free speech. Since when is money free speech? Money is money." I don't often quote Senator John McCain, but he's right on. This was a horrible decision by the Supreme Court. It is opposed by President Obama, supported by more than 100 members of Congress. The opposition to Citizens United is supported by 100 members of Congress, 300 cities, 9 state legislatures. Voters have supported the amendments in Colorado, Montana, many parts of Massachusetts, the cities of San Francisco, Richmond, Chicago, and more. L.A. obviously would have the largest impact to date in declaring a statement by the public that Citizens United was wrong. It certainly is not what was intended by our Constitution, by the writers of our Constitution, and indeed, corporations have a far different interest. Their interest is primarily, under the law, to make a profit. Now, no other voter has that as their primary interest when they walk into the poll. And if they do, it's their individual choice, but it is not backed with billions and billions of dollars in financing capability for campaigns to ensure their profits. So the Council has already voted to support the resolution, supported the drafting of this ordinance. We're ready to move forward, give the opportunity to the people of Los Angeles to make a loud statement to change our Constitution for the better and reverse Citizens United. So with that, I urge your aye vote and want to thank, again, Councilman Garcetti and Rosendahl for their leadership in presenting the original resolution. Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker on the queue is Councilman Rosendahl, followed by Councilman Koretz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would stand again, but as you know, I'm up and down, and it's this and that and the other. But this is one that I should stand up in the sky and scream at everybody and say, how can we make a corporation equal to a human being? Just answer that question. We're different, you know. We breathe, we're alive, we have blood. We're not sitting in a corporate boardroom figuring out how large our profits will be. Look, I came from the private sector, folks, and you see all this mayor campaign stuff going on. Well, you know, I ran a conglomerate. I had 2,700 employees. I know all about a private sector business and how to make it work and pay your people a living wage and do everything the right way. And that's how you look at what you should do in a democracy. I also had the opportunity, the pleasure, to create public affairs shows that inform, educate, and connected people to the issues. Because knowledge is power in a democracy. That's how people learn. And to let these 30-second sound bites filter the airways with garbage, you can't figure out who's who or what's what or anything else like that. And this is probably the second strike I got against the Supreme Court. First was when Al Gore won by 500,000 votes and he ended up putting in somebody else who didn't win legitimately, the President of the United States. And this is bigger, because what this basically does is say money rules, people don't. Well, the vote we take today is more symbolic than anything else. We all need to realize it's the folks in the Washington scene. And let me just ask the community groups, does everybody there know who their member of the House of Representatives are? Raise your hand if you do.
Okay, because the key is not us. We're just the local grassroots people that reflect your energy and are doing it very, very well. You got to sit with that Congress member, and you got to let them realize that they got to provide that leadership in Washington to help change the Constitution and the amendment process. It'll require real courage out of these people, and I would urge them to do it. So we're sending a message that we hope not only the world listens, but that the politicians in Washington listen to, and they go forward with it. So thank you, community, for your democracy and your interest, colleagues, for your support on this, and frankly, not only will it send a message, but we're the second biggest city in the nation. It'll send a loud message to Washington. Get off of it and make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Rosendahl. Our next speaker, Councilman Koretz, followed by Councilman Garcetti.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rosendahl and Mr. Garcetti, for your work on this. I think this probably has to be the easiest vote I've cast in 4 years. There's never been a single act that did more to advance corruption and to decimate transparency than the Citizens United decision. And we have, as a council, have already had the chance to say no, but now we get to give our citizens, our voters, the chance also to say no. And there's no guarantee it has an impact, but there's certainly a chance it has an impact. And certainly when LA does this, I'd be surprised if there aren't hundreds of cities that follow suit. So even if there's a chance that we can make this change, we absolutely have to act and hope we have the impact. So I thank everyone. I thank the council in advance for what I assume will be a very strong vote. And hopefully we send a message to the rest of the country, and the rest of the country continues to send that message, and this change eventually is made.
Councilman Garcetti.
You all have heard me speak about this plenty, so I won't be very long. I want to just tell a story that there was a guy who went into the carpool lane recently in another state just with himself. And he went for a few days hoping to get pulled over, and he finally did get pulled over. And when the officer said, you know, you're one person in a carpool lane, he pulled the paperwork for his LLC, for his business, and he said, no, the Supreme Court says that this is a person, and there are two of us. Now, he took it to court. The judge said, nice try, and threw it out. But he was trying to establish just how ridiculous this is, to try to establish that legal precedent that if we're going to call corporations people, you know, we have in this race, somebody tried to run for mayor that was a company here in Los Angeles. Those small acts of resistance and those small acts of pointing out just what we know logically to be so untrue is something we have to do as we build awareness. And if you want to know what democracy feels like, this is what democracy feels like. Here today, when regular folks take time out to say, this is our Constitution. The Constitution means the body. It is the core and the heart of who we are and what our government is. And it is we the people, not we the corporations. So let's put this on the ballot and send a very strong signal from the second largest city in America that we're part of that change. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. Seeing no one else on the queue, the item is before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 1 no.
The ordinance will be held over for 1 week for a second reading. The resolutions are adopted.
Okay.
Just for clarification, this applies to item 30 also. Pursuant to City Election Code 601E, for purposes of meeting the deadlines for placing measures on the ballot, an ordinance will be deemed to have met the applicable deadline if it receives at least 8 affirmative votes in the City Council by the deadline, provided that the ordinance ultimately is enacted into law pursuant to Charter Section 250.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, City Attorney. Madam Clerk, I believe we have some business on item 1.
Yes, Mr. President, there's a request to reconsider item 1T.
Okay, so let's open the roll and close the roll for reconsideration item 1T. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay.
And I believe there's a request to continue item 1O for 1 week to February 5th. And
1-0? I'm sorry, I just told it was 30 days for 1O. Yes, so there's a change, so they'll go for 30 days instead of 1 week for 1-0.
Okay, so continue item 1O for 30 days, which is February 29th,
Okay.
and continue item 1T for 30 days, which is February 29th.
Okay, so that is what is in front of us. See no one on the queue. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that takes care of that item. What's before us, Madam Clerk?
Next is item 18, call special for cards.
Okay, item 18. We have 2 cards. We have Donna Proman and Jill Weisenbach. Please come on up. It's item 18, Donna Proman and Jill Weisenbach.
I'm hoping that, my name is Donna Perriman, and I'm hoping that you use the money in a good and equitable way so that the money will be used to keep our city services. It's especially important for the San Fernando Valley. We need to keep the money for, especially for like the fire, the police, the sanitation, the parks. So we got to make sure that the Bureau of Sanitation, we want to make sure that the money is given toward the services that are needed and not just in the pockets of the mayor or in the pockets of a controller or in the pockets of the city council member. So that's all I want to do is to make sure that the money is used correctly and the budget. And I believed if you would get the money for the budget, that you would also have the money for opening up the video conferencing in Van Nuys. But anyway, so I just wanted to ask for you to use the money in an equitable, good way that is good for the constituents and not for just the politicians. Thank you.
Thank you. Jill Weisenbach, please come on up.
Hello, my name is Jill Weisenbach. I want to know why they don't take care of the fires in the hills and stuff, burning all the houses down and crime. What are you going to do about that? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public comment cards. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, next item.
Item 19, call special for cards.
We have 2 cards in this item, Mr. John Walsh and Juan Dude. John Walsh, right here. Okay, he'll pass. Juan Dude.
I could never pass when items are related to housing and the way we do business. We are not doing a good job at all. I keep seeing people getting evicted every day because City Hall has policies that do not go along with the people, and now you're bashing the corporations, but you act exactly like a corporation. You remove senior citizens out of their homes, throw them in the streets. You remove anybody that doesn't go along with your ordinances, which are very unreasonable in many cases. You collect and collect and collect from people through parking meters, made-up tickets.
Mr. President, this really isn't about the rent escrow program.
Collect rent from everybody. You collect rent from everybody illegally. City attorney, Do you know the law? You violate the Constitution constantly. You bash the people that pay your salaries. You are nothing but a bunch of idiots.
Thank you very much. Seeing no one's on the queue, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 22, call special for cards.
Okay. Okay, we have John Walsh and Dollhouse Dude. John Walsh on 22.
You may want to tell him to stay there for 23 as well. He's there for 23 as well.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Go to the front page online, go to Mayor Sam for an expansion of my remarks. This is, Zion isn't here today, but what this is an appointment, is a salary recommendation. Now, a salary recommendation means they are establishing a higher salary than is common, that is normal. That's what a salary recommendation. Now, you would expect in every other city in California that they would mention what the salary was. No. But then if I try to find out what the salary is and use my iPad, I can't get into the salary file to find out how much it's worth. But what is this gentleman going to be the general manager of? ITA. ITA is blocking anyone, try it now, to get in there to find out what the new salary of the ITA general manager is. Now, I want to tell you that I've been using this iPad at public meetings. You go to the county, their Wi-Fi is excellent. LAUSD Wi-Fi is excellent. You go to coffee shops, excellent Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi here is horrible. It kicks out. It's Wi-Fi from 2002. So I just want you to know why it is bad, because the general manager's job is to block our access to information. That's what's going on here. And I would like to know, we've just told the Supreme Court to go to hell. I would like to know how much the general manager is going to be paid. Number 22. It's not in the agenda. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Mr. Walsh, you are also next on the next item. If you mind staying close to the microphone. You're out of time. Okay. Dollhouse Dude.
Yep. High salaries for little idiots making stupid decisions. Come on. We need housing for everyone. See, homeboys
Mr. President, he is not talking about this item.
This is the ITA manager.
The high technology age. We are so advanced and everybody's homeless. City attorney, get it together. Your laws are not the laws of the land.
The issue is a salary recommendation for the ITA manager. That is the item, sir.
You're going to be paying somebody a lot of money to do nothing. That's what you're doing.
Okay.
You're wasting our money.
Thank you very much. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Thank you.
The approved salary for the general manager of Information Technology Agency is $225,002.88 per year.
Thank you. Okay, next item.
Item 23, call special for cards. A substitute motion has been circulated.
Okay, Mr. Walsh is out of time. We have one more card on Mr. Dollhouse on this item, please.
This guy keeps worrying about my hat. Look, nobody's here. I'm not blocking
Sir, please
anybody.
stick to the item on 23.
The item, Labonge, Perry, Alarcon, relative to the transfer of jurisdiction from the Department of General Services of the street triangle at the corner of Gage Avenue and Avalon Boulevard at the department. Oh, that place is horrible. I've been there.
Thank you very much. Seeing no one else on the queue, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Forthwith on 23. Thank you, Councilor Labange. Next item.
Item 32, call special for cards.
Okay, we do have Donna Perlman and Minister Dalhouse Dude on item 32.
My mistake, I didn't really want to put in for number 32. I meant to put in for 30. I just want to say real fast, if Garcetti and Rosendahl is for number 30, then it must be a good measure. But 32, I will say that sanitation is just as important as DWP, so that I hope that sanitation gets all that is needed, because the city of Los Angeles needs the sanitation. I believe the solid waste is sanitation, so I'm strongly for ways to keep our city sanitation running smoothly. And so if this doesn't, and it is not against the homeowners, and it's not a bond issue for homeowners to have to pay for it only, then it will be okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Juan Dalhouse Dude on item 32.
Yes, this also pertains to high technology. You could turn solid waste into bricks to build housing for everyone. Solid waste can be mixed with other mixtures and be made into building materials. Solid waste can be used in many creative ways, but the waste that goes on in all the city halls in the United States and the world, that is not an easy waste to get rid of. That is the problem. The big waste is in the politicians.
Is not talking about this.
Okay. Again, thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Thank you very much. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
We'll move forthwith on this item. Okay.
Mr. President, that takes council to item 28, the closed session item.
And this is the last item?
Yes, I believe there's cards on this item.
We have one card, but I think he's out of time.
Yeah. We had one card, and the gentleman is out of time. That was the House Dude on this item. So, Madam Clerk, City Attorney.
General public comment?
Okay, well, let's do that. We'll go to general public comment. Jill Weisenbach for general comment. Donna Perlman, general comment. Sean, please come on up. No,
Well, I'm in a Herb Weston. How come he's not running this meeting? The streets still need to be repaired. Keep the libraries open. We need to have our streets clean. Proposition, vote for Wendy Grove for mayor, or the vote of your choice. 6 weeks away now. We are 6 weeks away from the election. That's about it. I hope Herb runs this meeting next week.
Jill Weisenbach, please come on up, and then Donna Perlman.
What are we going to do with the street lights on the streets and stuff now? I can't see where we're going and stuff. Are they going to fix the street lights and stuff? That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Come to the ropes. We'll find out where the street lights are.
All right.
Okay, hopefully. Sean left, I'll be.
Ms. Perlman, please.
Okay. Perriman. Anyway, Miriam's still in Shiva with her sister Diane. She'll be back. So watch yourself, City Council. I can't wait to hear her speak. The biggest problem with City Hall is it's not the voice of the people. I've heard all my life you can't fight City Hall. It's the is that the legacy City Council wants to leave? Unfightable, uncaring, only for the rich developer? Well, it shows by closing off, except every other Friday, the voice of the San Fernando Valley. We need to encourage Angelenos to come and voice their concerns, especially in the San Fernando Valley. I love to see a whole room full of Valley voters and the Van Nuys City video conferencing to the unfeeling Spring Street to speak to the rest of the Los Angeles voters. Do you want to see the Valley, Hollywood, Los Angeles, San Pedro might have a lot in common. Perhaps have a bigger bond to each other. Eric Garcetti, who should be our next mayor, voted against closing Van Nuys video conferencing. He was proud of the Van Nuys site. I hope he can hear me. Let's vote for Eric Garcetti for mayor. City Council, reopen Van Nuys video conferencing now. It's just not a voice of the few people. It's not a few people's voices. It's the voice of the San Fernando Valley. Of course, you don't care for the voice of the Angelenos. Prove me wrong. So I want you to open Van Nuys video conferencing, and I believe that the one who really cares, really cares for everyone. It is all the way through the Los Angeles area, and it is Eric Garcetti. So I would love people to vote for Eric Garcetti for mayor, because I believe that he will be the one that will not just go and bash city employees. He'll come up with creative solutions. So I say vote for Eric Garcetti and open Van Nuys video conferencing.
Thank you, ma'am. Juan the House Dude, John Walsh, and then Yvonne Michelle Autry.
I think she just wants Garcetti because Garcetti is a pretty boy, personally. A lot of our decisions are made like that. Look at that pretty lady. I'm going to vote for her. I would never vote for a pretty boy, sorry. Anyway, see this? Homeboys. You know what the homeboys are telling you? Jobs, not jails. And you know what your emphasis is? More jails. Why? Because you're creating a police state. You're already there. Hail a taxi? Is that how we say it? Hail a taxi? Hail a city hall? Anyway, my main issue is housing. You got a million little issues that are not going to get us anywhere until we all get permanent housing that could not be lost to any damn city hall for any tax reason. We need to create a parallel system where all the poor people have at least a modest way to live without a landlord. We need to get rid of the stupid landlords which are never satisfied with the money you give them. They're never satisfied with the way you walk into your house. Remember, when you rent a house, it's your house. But the landlord never loses the idea that it is his house or her house. And they're always bitching about everything that goes on in that house, which really should belong to the tenant, not to the landlord. Landlord-tenant relations should be over by now. We are modern enough to create a better way to do housing.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Go immediately to Mayor Sam and see the fabulous hen house video of the three foxes who are running for mayor and how they are devouring us. It is a fantastic, hilarious commercial. You'll see that the people up here, Garcetti and Perry, they're not here. They're making phone calls right now, trying to raise money to counter this ad. See it at Mayor Sam right now. Anybody but Garcetti for mayor. We found out how much the ITA general manager is getting, $225,000. Go to Chicago. The mayor of the city of Chicago makes less than the ITA general manager here. The congressmen make less. Governors make less. The money that goes, and who gets to pick him? The city council and the mayor. CRA, go away. Friday, we will be back here. We will be here for the Drop Dead CRA anniversary day. We were here on February 1st, 2012 to bury the CRA. Jerry Brown has done a very good job. We will be commemorating that day. Incidentally, the biggest scandal of all is Mr. Jack Clunder, the Clunder Blunder. You don't know who Jack Clunder is? He runs he's the publisher of the Daily News, and he gave $750 to one of the candidates running for mayor. And to show you that I am totally without prejudice, it was this. Pretty boy Kevin James has $750 in his pocket from the Daily News. So, I mean, when you see Rick Orlov walking around here, he doesn't do Jack, you know what. Whatever he writes is rewritten by Jack Clunder. Never in the history of journalism have the journalists taken money from the candidates. We are asking Kevin James to return the $750.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Yvonne Michelle Autry. Are you here? Yvonne.
I like the tea because I drink a lot of green tea. Happy New Year. First, I'd like to object to the fact that you've changed and you've delayed public comment to the end. That discourages a lot of first-time constituents from voicing their opinion, and I think that's by design, and I think that's horrible. I think it's a horrible travesty of justice. People are already timid enough. And what I'd like to do is, at this time, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Councilman Eric Garcetti, because he did accept an invitation by L.A. Cannon addressing the constituents of Skid Row approximately 2 months ago. Wendy Gruhl declined the invitation, as well as Ms. Perry. And I would discourage any constituents in the Los Angeles within earshot from supporting these candidates simply because they did not show any type of empathy, even interest in the most indigent, the most needy, and those that are suffering in the downtown area, specifically Skid Row. We invited Mr. Garcetti to attend an open city town hall meeting at the James Wood Center, and he did accept the invitation. He fielded questions for approximately 2 hours, and we do appreciate that. Thank you so much, and you have my endorsement as well. I'm sure I'm speaking for many, because we really do appreciate that, and we just hope that you keep your promises, because you know I will show up if you don't. And I'd also like to address the City Council on behalf of the constituents of the Skid Row area with regard or relative to the closing of Gladys Park and San Julian Park. Gladys Park is available for CA and AA meetings. It should remain open. Para los niños meet there on Friday. It should remain open. The drugs that are circulating at San Julian, many are circulated by the police department. Can you investigate that?
Thank you.
The parks need to remain open.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. That concludes public comment. Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, that takes council to item 28, closed session.
Okay, we are now going to close session. Those that are in the audience, can you please allow us to proceed with our closed session by leaving the chambers? Thank you.
The average adult spends more than 8 hours in front of a screen each day. Children spend up to 4 hours. Studies show that sedentary lifestyles put you at risk for disease, even at an early age. But a healthy lifestyle is just a click away. Los Angeles Recreation and Parks provides over 16,000 acres of parkland, with parks and lakes, swimming pools, golf courses, skate parks, and dog parks, and more than 180 community recreation centers. A healthy lifestyle is just a click away. laparks.org.
We're back on? Okay. Okay. Madam Clerk, next item.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Post and referred.
That clears the desk.
Okay, members, any announcements? Seeing none, adjourning motions. Councilor Rosendahl.
President, I wanted to stand for this one. This is a dear friend whose father just died, and I appreciate the fact that I'm standing, too. Colleagues, today we adjourn in memory of Odell S. Mack, a former union representative with ASME, District Council 36. He passed last December at the age of 76. Born on April 17, 1936, Odell grew up in East Los Angeles and later settled in Irvine, California. Working with ASME, Odell continued to fight for workers' rights and fair wages and always pushed for the best deals for his union brothers and sisters. In his latter years, Odell was a successful businessman who was a role model for focus, hard work, fellowship, and always bettering oneself with a positive image. Odell was father, husband, soldier, and a strong man of the faith. He will be remembered as a hard worker who never stopped striving for the best. Odell is survived by a plethora of family members, friends, and loved ones, including his son, Mark A. Mack, a friend of mine. May he rest in peace.
Thank you, Councilman Rosendahl. Councilman Labange.
I'd like to adjourn in memory of Don Benjamin, and someone very special to Mr. Wesson. The proper paperwork will be forwarded, but Don Benjamin was a good man, and he went too early. Additionally, on behalf of Mr. Garcetti, I ask we adjourn in memory of Robert Shaw, who was born in Oklahoma in 1916, lived a good, long life. He was 96 years old. He was a member of the Ward of the American. Many activities in his communities, his involvement over the years. He's the oldest male member of his congregation of his church, the Ward African Methodist Episcopal Church, since 1945 here in Los Angeles. He was an accomplished musician and played guitar and also auto harp. He was an extensive gospel singer as well. His service will be held on Friday, February 1st at the Ward African Methodist Episcopal Church at 1177 West 25th Street in Los Angeles. He will live forever in the minds, in the hearts, and the family and friends. He's survived by his daughter, Marianne Shaw King. I ask we adjourn in memory of Robert Shaw. Many granddaughters and many grandchildren. A very special man, but 96 is a great life, so God bless him, man. I know he's right there.
Councilman Corrigan.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, many of you know and have had the chance to work with former Assembly Member Anthony Portantino, former Mayor of La Cañada Flint Ridge. I'm sad to report and ask that we adjourn in the memory of his mother, Barbara, who passed away on Friday at the age of 81. Barbara's husband, Anthony Sr., died when the children were quite young and left Barbara and the 4 children with limited means. She did a remarkable job as the foundation of the Portantino family and as a nurturing parent. 3 of her 4 children graduated from college, and the 4th went on to be a very successful entrepreneur. Anthony Portantino, Assemblymember Portantino, said she never missed a Little League game, Pop Warner football game, or high school event that featured one of her children. She instilled in all of us a positive spirit and warmth that we carry as her legacy each and every day. A truly amazing woman, my mother survived an extremely difficult adolescence and the death of her husband with an uncanny ability to see the best in all people and an amazing belief in her children. She was not a complex person, but inspired big dreams for everyone she touched. And who can ask for any greater legacy than that? Barbara Portantino leaves behind 2 sons, 1 daughter, 2 daughters-in-law, 2 sons-in-law, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great-granddaughter. She was preceded in death by her husband in 1972 and her 3 older sisters. She'll be missed but not forgotten, and donations in Barbara's name can be made to Elizabeth House, which helps young girls, many of whom have been victims of abuse. Those donations can be made at elizabethhouse.net, or also to Project 10, a nationally recognized program for LGBT youth, at project10.org.
Councilman Weezar, followed by Councilman Koretz.
Thank you. And if I could, Mr. Corrin, allow me to co-present that with you as well. Mr. Assemblymember Portantino we became good friends as we overlapped in the EGOC area of our districts. And this is really just a sad thing for all of us in the community, where we often see Assemblymember Portantino in community events, and he's always talking about his family, whether it's his daughters or his mother, everyone else. Family was very, very important to him. So God bless Assemblymember Portantino, his mother Barbara, and may she rest in peace. And our prayers go out to the Portantino family.
Mr. Koretz.
Yeah, I'd also like to be added on to that motion. And the thing I knew most about her and thought was most notable was her support for one of Anthony Portantino's brothers, Michael, who came out to her when he was 16 as gay, and she was very supportive and actually became somewhat of an LGBT activist through the rest of her life, and even notably, I think, joined the stage at the Capitol Mall when I believe he was making a speech 10 years ago or so to a very large march. And so she was very supportive of all her family, but that may have been a little more difficult, and I think that should be mentioned. That was probably one of the more notable parts of her life, but she was very proud of her whole family and very supportive of all of it, and she'll be missed by everybody that knew her.
Thank you. Any other adjourning motions at this time? Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the Portantino family as well. I've known Anthony for several years, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the Portantino family. Another fine Italian passed away this last week, colleagues. I'd like to adjourn in memory of Vito Terzoli, who passed away from MDS on January 19th. Vito was born on November 12, 1934 in Balestrate, Sicily in Italy. With hopes of giving his family the American dream, he immigrated to San Pedro in 1964. He was a commercial fisherman for over 70 years. The ocean was in his veins, as his family says. His boats, the Anna Maria II and Maria T, were his pride and joy. He was a proud and very active member of the Italian-American Club of San Pedro and a devout follower of Santo Pio. He leaves behind his loving wife, Antoinette, for 30 years, who never left his side, along with his children, Ercole, Nino, Ornella, Robert, and Anna Haycraft, as well as his extended children, Diana Galetti, Danny Inman, and Annette Mitchell. He had 26 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren, and numerous brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews. Vito loved playing cards, going to Palm Springs and Las Vegas with his friends. He was known as Uncle Vito to everyone who loved and knew him. On behalf of the Terzoli family, they'd like to thank everyone for their love and prayers. The viewing for Vito was held this last Tuesday. The Rosary service was held the same evening at Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Church. The funeral mass was held Wednesday, January 23rd at Mary Star. And to Uncle Vito, we're going to miss you. May you rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Every day is a blessing. Go on and forth to serve the city of Los Angeles. This meeting is now adjourned.